Excellent. So we've downloaded ComfyUI. This is how it's going to start up when you open. And because this is a node-based user interface, it's on you to make sure that you customize this however you want. So how do we start this? What's the first step? Well, I have a workflow that I'm going to show you that you're going to build on your own as well as you watch this video. This is as simple as it gets and is really all you need to type something in and have an image kick out. I'm going to go up. This is the default workflow. It seems overwhelming at first with all of these different settings. I'll go over all of these settings for you, but really what we need to understand is that it goes from left to right for now. There's different elements that work together that allow you to kick out an image at the end. Let's start with the left-hand side. This is our checkpoint loader node. This is the Juggernaut checkpoint or AI trainable model we downloaded from Civet AI. This is the photorealism one. If you wanted an anime one, you would download the anime one and then paste it into the checkpoint folder like I showed you earlier in this video. You would click it and it would give you a drop-down list of all the ones you downloaded. For now, we only have this one. This checkpoint node is what's going to determine the style of what comes out in the end. Here we have the encoders. Encoders can consist of text prompts as well as image prompts. Let's focus on the text prompts for now. We've got the green, we've got the red, and on the green side is what we want to kick out. So I could say, adult man walking on the beach. And it would do a photorealistic photo or image of a adult man walking on the beach over here once we do it. And on the red is what we don't want in the photo. Rocks. Other people. Now, the negative prompt is interesting in the sense that it's not that we specifically don't want rocks or other people. I mean, it'll serve as that. It won't include rocks and it won't include other people. But really, it's for the system to know what style we don't want. In fact, I could even put oil refinery, and it'll know that we want to stay away from anything that resembles an oil refinery so it can focus more on what a beach is, if that makes any sense, okay? Then we have the samplers. The samplers will take the prompts from the left-hand side, the green and the red, the positive and the negative, as well as the checkpoint model we're using. It'll mix it all up in the KSampler, and once the KSampler is done doing what it needs to, it will push it out to the VAE decoder, and the decoder will take the information from the KSampler and clean it up so that it creates an image for us at the end. So right now we have adult man walking on the beach as the positive, and on the red, negative, we have rocks, other people, oil refinery. I'm going to hit Q prompt all the way on the right-hand side. It's surrounded by green, so you know that's the step we're on. In fact, I could even hit View Q, and we'll see that it's loading here. It quickly went through the text-coded prompts because that's not too difficult to process. But the KSampler right now is loading, right? And it's taking all the information from the clip text encode, from the positive, from the red, negative, and it's mixing it up with the stylized version of the AI model that we want. It's mixing it all up in the center. It's going to push it out to the VAE decode. It's decoding the information. And now we have this. But look how photorealistic that looks, right? That is unbelievable. Really, it's incredible. And every time there's updates and new versions, it just gets more and more real. Let's do adult woman walking on the beach. It's going to do the exact same thing. The difference is that it no longer needs to load the checkpoint model, so you didn't see it going green, because it's already been loaded the first time. And the first time, it quickly surrounded the text code prompts in green, because it didn't take that long. And because we changed this from man to woman, it also surrounded in green for a brief second. But now the KSampler's mixing up again the new prompt of woman, all in here. It's decoding it, and now we're going to get an adult woman. You're going to immediately notice that there may be issues with some of the photos, which is where customization comes in, because different nodes made by different people because of this open source software will serve to fix whatever didn't come out right in the beginning. you look at her face, I mean, it looks good. It looks a little unreal, right? I mean, her teeth look a little funny. Her eyes look a little funny. I mean, her hair is incredible, but you may zoom in, see some weird stuff going on in her hand. But aside from that, I give this a B, right? It's just really good. We would then introduce some custom nodes that focus on fixing the face, that focus on fixing the hands. But we'll leave it here for now. You've seen what this can do just on a basic level, all right? Now that you've seen how ComfyUI works at a very basic level and how it gets most of the job done with a simple user interface, let me show you how to recreate exactly what's up here so that you can do it yourself. I said this is a node-based user interface, as you can see, so you manually input the nodes that you want to see. So we've got a checkpoint over here. The way this works is you're going to right-click. You've got a couple options. You've got add node, add group, node templates. This is what I did in the beginning, and these are the different workflows I have. But you're going to go to add node. You're going to go to loaders, load checkpoint, and we've got the exact same one. The only thing is you can go to colors, hit blue, and color blue, and that's how I got that. You can also just double click. Load, and here we go, checkpoint loader simple. You're going to notice that some of these things, even though they're called load checkpoint, when you double click, they don't have the exact same name. Through practice and repetition, you're going to be able to associate the nodes you're looking for their actual names when you double click, okay? That might be the only annoying part. But if we got this, same exact thing. We want to do the green and the red now. We're going to do clip, text, encode. We see it here. Color, green. And we can hold Alt and drag it down to duplicate. Color, red. Alternatively, we can do what we did in the beginning. Double click, clip, text. Oh, you got to be very specific. You can't even put a space. Clip, text, encode. Color, red. Remember, the colors are just your way of differentiating what everything is. There is no negative clip, text, encode. It's just simply clip, text, encode. The way you connect these is through these little cables to each one. So we've got clip. We can see clip and clip. We see clip. We're missing model and we're missing VAE. We'll get to those. But these green ones, these clip, text, encodes are how we condition our photo. So positive conditioning and negative conditioning. We're going to extend this. And you can see that by extending, it gives us a little preview into the different options that we could use to create the next node. So we know that the next one is a KSampler. We're going to extend this and do KSampler. You're going to do condition. So what do we see here? We have defined this top one, which its original color was no color, right? I could have left this as no colors, and it would have still known that this top one is a positive one, and this bottom one is a negative one. But for the sake of ease, and the fact that we know that green means positive, red means negative, we'll leave this like this. We can see here's a model, extend it to the model, and then we've got the missing VAE. We'll leave that alone. So since we're a little tight on space here, what we want to do is we want to move everything up, and the way you can move up everything together as opposed to individually is holding control, highlight everything, let go of control, and then hold shift and move everything up. If you don't, it'll just move them one at a time. We're going to color this one blue. We have KSampler and the KSampler Advanced. They both do the same thing, except Advanced gives us additional functionality to try to specify more into the photo that we'd like. So we've got KSampler. We extend latent, VAE Decode, color, blue, and now we've matched it to down here. And then finally, extend image, preview image, color, blue. And then we can kind of expand this so it can fit the same. I'm going to highlight these. I'm going to bring them down. I'm going to bring that up. And now we've got the exact same thing with the exception of this final piece here. We're going to drag it down. Empty latent image. I will explain what each of these nodes do specifically, but I just want you to have a brief overview so that nothing gets confusing along the way. Excellent. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. Adult man walking on the beach, put it up here. Do that, that. Now, I'm going to hit Q prompt, And we're going to notice, again, this doesn't need to load. That's why it wasn't in green, because it was already loaded. We've brought this back from woman to man, so it circled this in green, but it did it quick. So now we're back onto the KSampler. It is decoding. We've got a man here. All right, so what I want to do for you guys here is overview the first two settings of the KSampler, the seed and the control after generate. And I want to show you some of the settings on the control after generate and how they impact the seed, because the seed is what determines the sample that's going to come out in the preview image node. So the control after generate is going to impact whether that number changes or stays the same, and at what point does it change. The top and the bottom are identical. The only thing I've changed is that I've set the seed to 10,000 for both the bottom and the top one, and I changed the control after generate to increment for both the top and the bottom one. What does that mean? It means that as soon as I hit Q prompt, an image will begin to be generated associated with seed or variation 10,000 for both the top and the bottom ones. But because control after generate is set to increment, that means that in the process of seed 10,000 image being generated, this seed will increment by 1 to 10,001, even before this preview image is completed. It'll do that for both the bottom and the top. That means that as soon as preview image associated to seed 10,000 is completed, I can hit Q prompt and a brand new seed of 10,001 is already pre-filled for me for both the bottom and the top workflow. If I hit Q prompt again, it'll begin to generate a new image associated to seed 10,001, and even before 10,001 is completed, this will pre-fill to 10,002 in preparation for the third Q prompt that I hit. Let's see what I mean. I'm going to hit Q prompt. Like I said, preview image 10,000 is being generated in the KSampler, not 10,001, 10,000. And even before the image is generated, the control after generate increment by 1 setting, and there's these 4, has already changed the seed to 10,001. This photo is not seed 10,001. It is seed 10,000. Same thing here. Because we have the same settings on the bottom and the top and the same prompts and the same checkpoint loader, we kick out the same image, of course. But notice it changed it to 10,001. That way, when I hit Q prompt, it's already pre-filled to 10,001. As soon as I hit Q prompt, it will begin to generate in the KSampler a brand new image associated to 10,001, but it will pre-fill the seed to 10,002 in preparation for the next Q prompt. I decided to do the top one first. I'm not sure why. This picture of a man on a beach is associated to seed 10,001, and 10,002 was pre-filled in preparation for the next time we hit Q prompt. Again, same exact image, changed it to 10,002, so when I hit Q prompt, it's ready to go off of seed 10,002. These are associated to image or seed 10,001, not 10,002. If I hit fixed, what will happen? Let's see, Q prompt. The top one is generating a new image associated to seed 10,002. It pre-filled the seed to 10,003 in preparation for the next Q prompt. Boom, this is image 10,002. And since I left this at fixed, this image that was seed 10,001 will be overridden to seed image 10,002, which is the same thing as this top one, except when I hit Q prompt, this will not change because it has been moved from increment to fixed, meaning the seed is remaining the same. However, up here, I'm going to hit Q prompt and I hit it again. This image associated to seed 10,003 is now this one, associated to seed 10,003. Now, if I change both of them to fixed, the bottom one will not have anything happen because no seed changed. And again, this one will repeat the same as the bottom. I'm going to hit Q prompt, and because this is associated to image 10,003, not 10,004, it'll generate an image set to 10,004. This is now image 10,004. If I hit Q prompt, nothing will happen because everything is set to fixed, and it already generated an image associated to the seed 10,002 and 10,004. I hit queue prompt, nothing happens. I can keep clicking it, nothing will happen. Until I either change it to increment, decrement, or randomize. And that's how the seed can impact type of image you want at the end.